American Eagles are easily the most popular silver coin in the entire world. 5 million ounces were sold the first month of January alone in 2022. But the US Mint is in a very tough situation right now, finding a sufficient enough supply of silver to make these coins. And as they're up against Congress right now, this situation isn't going to be resolved anytime soon, meaning the premiums are going to continue to rise. So now I'm wondering if people will continue to keep buying these extremely overpriced coins or turn their back and start finding cheaper alternatives. Welcome, stackers. I hope you are having a beautiful day. If you aren't subscribed already, I recommend that you do, or I hope that you do, at least since I post daily videos. I'm always going to give you the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date, recent information regarding silver. Now, if you didn't know, the US Mint is in serious legal trouble going up against Congress being non-compliant with supply shortages. And they're in violation of several codes, which we could go over in this article, but there's a paragraph in this article I really wanted to break down because I've covered the legal issues they're in before. Basically, they just cannot find enough silver planchets to keep making these coins, meaning that the prices or the premiums are going to continue to rise. So giving it more thought after covering this not only extremely important article, but the paragraph I'm about to go over, I realized that if this situation isn't going to find any type of solution anytime soon, as American Eagles are the most popular coins in the world, I mean, selling 5 million ounces the first month of January blows every other mint out of the water. I mean, Perth Mint's probably a close second, and you can see January 2022, they only sold 2,387,000 ounces. So I'm wondering if sales are going to start declining of these so well-beloved coins. Now remember, government mints and private mints are in an entirely different situation. That's also why you see the Perth Mint, Royal Mint, and the US Mint having supply shortage troubles, but private mints, they aren't, because they have different laws, which I will also show and talk about in this video, just to give a little bit of context of why the US Mint is in this situation and why not every mint is. So it all started when the US Mint announced they're going to be halting the Morgan and silver peace dollars, as people were wondering why. This was going to be the first year they brought them back. It was going to be pretty cool, but they said this. Last week, the US Mint announced that it would not strike the 2022 dated Morgan and silver peace dollars as it was experiencing difficulty in coming up with an adequate supply of the silver planchets. So then it goes into talking about the US Mint is blamed for not providing as many coins in qualities and quantities as the Secretary determines are sufficient to meet public demand, and that's text from 31 US Code 5112E. As discussed in my May 18th, 2021 column, the US Mint has greater difficulty procuring sufficient silver supplies to meet public demand because it is constrained in how much it can pay for the physical silver. And that's what I was talking about, how the private mints are in an entirely different situation. To acquire silver to strike Silver Eagles, 31 US Code 5112F1 requires that the Secretary shall sell the coins minted under subsection E, Silver Eagles, to the public at a price equal to the market value of the bullion at the same time of the sale, plus costs of minting, marketing, and distributing such coins, including labor, materials, dyes, use of machinery, and promotional and overhead expenses. To repeat from his column last March, other statutes prohibit the US Mint from offering to pay prices higher than the established by the paper market spot prices. 31 US Code 5116A3 states in part, the Secretary shall pay not more than the average world price for the gold. 31 US Code 5116B2 states in part, the Secretary shall not pay more than the average world price for silver under any circumstance. As used in this paragraph, the term average world price means the price determined by a widely recognized commodity exchange at the time silver is obtained by the Secretary, which is, the LBMA. That's the biggest one. Widely recognized commodity exchange, blah, 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 LBMA. Effectively, the US Mint is prevented from complying with one statutory requirement To produce silver American Eagle is sufficient to meet public demand by another statutory requirement that prohibits it from paying a price higher than the paper market spot price. So until and unless the statutes are changed to allow the U.S. Mint to purchase physical silver prices at above the paper market spot prices, it will have continuing difficulty in acquiring sufficient metal to meet public demand. Other private and government minting operations are able to acquire silver at prices above the commodity market prices, and they are doing so. That's what I was talking about. And therefore, they are more likely to obtain the silver they need because they are paying higher prices than the limit imposed on what the U.S. Mint can pay. The U.S. Mint's problem of obtaining sufficient silver to meet public demand could be cured by changing the law to give the U.S. Mint greater price flexibility. I doubt that would ever even be considered. The federal government has a strong interest in holding down silver and gold prices as a major tactic to minimize the interest rate it pays on its own $30 trillion of debt. This concern would almost certainly override any consideration of allowing the U.S. Mint the flexibility to acquire sufficient silver. So, as long as the market price for physical silver remains consistently higher than the paper commodity contract price, the U.S. Mint is going to continue experiencing difficulty in obtaining sufficient silver, meaning the premiums are going to keep rising. And here's the thing, if you don't watch my channel, you would never know about this because nobody else, or at least no other silver stacking channels on YouTube, cover this type of stuff, right? And that's really important to take note of because a lot of people that try to talk about premiums or what's going to happen have no idea what's happening behind closed doors, like I try to share. So when they're speculating or talking about what prices for Eagles are going to do, they have no clue what they're actually saying. They're just assuming based off whatever they think sounds logical. But this is more than just assumptions here. The U.S. Mint is in a much different situation than basically every other mint. And here's another important thing to remember is the U.S. Mint does get a lot of their silver from other mints, but other mints are making a killing from charging them these prices, so they're not going to stop anytime soon. It wouldn't make sense to. So at the end of the day, this does not mean there's a shortage of silver. The investment side of things is only one little puzzle piece. A lot of the silver shortage talk is about the industrial sector, 5G towers, electric vehicles, solar panels, all of that. Moving forwards over the next decade as we move into this new green revolution, we don't have enough silver for that. The silver shortage isn't just because the U.S. Mint can't find silver. That's more from legal restrictions that obviously we just covered. That it's not from there's just not enough silver in the world. And I think that's what a lot of people are thinking logically is there's still a lot of silver. The U.S. Yes, that does not equal the silver shortage. The silver shortage is from the below ground supply versus above ground supply versus global demand, especially the increasing demand over the next decade, so on and so forth, as we advance in this new digital technological era. That is where the silver shortage is coming from. I mean, you could throw in the investment sector in the increasing demand as prices rise from everyone, including your mom, trying to get a slice of the silver pie, but the bigger picture is the industrial sector. And why do you think gold doesn't have crazy high premiums? It's because gold isn't scarce. Silver's scarce, that's why silver has high premiums. Now, are these premiums going to continue to rise from all mints? Eventually. I mean, the silver shortage isn't going to just come to any type of solution. It's not even possible logically. But the US Mint right now, for the immediate term, is going to be the coin that premiums are just ridiculously high. Now, yes, premiums are high for all coins right now in this world of silver, but this is the coin that I would recommend people stay away from entirely. And that's still getting back to my point is as they are making record-breaking sales at 5 million ounces the first month of January. Next year, will we see a decline in that as people start to turn their backs? And that's what this video is about. Is the U.S. Mint going to start losing that shine of being the world's most beloved coin simply because prices are just extremely high. I know I'm not buying tubes of Eagles anymore as I used to. I would rather go to a generic round that's much, much cheaper, and I recommend you do too. So I don't know. What do you think about this situation? I mean, is this paragraph right here explains it to the T. The, as long as the market price for the physical silver remains consistently higher than the paper commodity contract price, the U.S. Mint's going to continue experiencing difficulty in obtaining sufficient silver. And they even talk about the $30 trillion of debt being a major tactic to minimize interest rates, and that's why the government is doing this. So, this concern would almost certainly override any consideration of allowing the US Mint the flexibility to acquire sufficient silver. So, we're going into politics now. That is why this whole thing isn't just going to blow over, or maybe they'll change it, is because there's a lot of sinister stuff going on behind the scene, and a lot of it does have to do with, the corrupt financial system we're in. So, what do you think? Do you think that maybe they will override this situation and give them more flexibility like other private mints? And do you I mean, even the Perth Mint and the Royal Mint announced record-breaking sales. The Perth Mint and the Royal Mint also acknowledged there's a silver shortage, or they're having a hard time finding these silver blanks or planchets. And even the Royal Mint's starting to recycle silver now out of laptops and cell phones to try to fix this problem. And I do think recycling is going to be one of the best alternatives, or one of the only solutions they can turn to, as, finding a direct supplier is almost out of the question at this point. So let me know what you think. I want you to comment down below. Are you going to keep buying Eagles? Do you still buy Eagles? And what you think about this entire thing legally? I would love for you to know, because my theory is they might start to lose customers, or American Eagles might not be that so well beloved coin that everyone, turns to. I might be wrong, right? Maybe people will still keep paying these high premiums. I mean, on Amazon, Eagles are selling for $50 like hotcakes. I mean, we're talking about, a $25 premium on a $22 coin. Like, it's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. But I do also think a lot of those sales come from people that don't know about sites like AppMex, or that are new stackers that are getting taken advantage of. And people are going to keep taking advantage of these customers because they're making a profit from it. Why would you go sell an Eagle for, $5 over spot to your LCS when you could charge $25 over spot on Amazon? So anyways, I don't know. What do you think about this? If you thought this video was 1, educational, 2, informational, 3, at least entertaining, make sure to hit that like button. I post daily videos, so hopefully you are subscribed as well. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.